Hello and welcome back to Slippy-J Sunday. Today I have a multi-tool for you. All you cool hip cats out there. Okay, it's very, very late. But, man, yeah, I'd recently reviewed a whole bunch of RattleSnake design knives, and I have some more that I'm taking a look at here. But because of that, this one just kind of came up, and yeah, it is technically a slip joint. So sure, let's go ahead and talk about it. This is the TS206. And this thing comes in about 6 or 8 variants or what, I don't know. There's a drop point and a tanto point blade. And then they have them in black G10, orange G10, and I think for a little while they were doing like a digital camo in G10. So yeah, a lot of variants there. This guy has, it's not a nail nick, but I don't really think it's quite enough because you have these other tools on the backside here. So you do kind of have to use your fingernail in there. This one in particular was a tanto because it was the one that I got the best deal on. I'm a bit reserved in general about putting a tanto blade onto a slip joint. They are mostly designed for piercing cuts, you know, with the generally a more reinforced tip and for that sort of stuff. And you don't really want to do piercing cuts with a slip joint because it's, you know, it's going to come back down on you. This is one of a few that I've seen that have done it. There's not a whole lot of them out there, which I think is kind of a good thing. There's a Civivi out there that does as well, and damned if I can remember the name of that off the top of my head here, but all right. So yeah, this guy is in 14C28N. I do believe that's the only steel that has been used to manufacture these. And we have just a smidge over 2.9 inches. So it's under 3 inches. The drop point will be exactly the same blade length, but obviously the shape will be a little bit different there. We do have a high flat grind. It's not a full flat grind, but that's perfectly fine. And I'm just getting fingerprints more and more and more on it, so I might as well just give up the fight and I'll clean it off a little bit later. That's fine. So yeah, in general, I do kind of wish that you had a little bit better access to the blade pull on this thing, but it does have some other things going on here. We have a wood saw, so you know the old cross cut sort of thing there. Does not state what kind of steel this is made out of. And I have absolutely no idea if they would make it out of the same stuff, 14C28N, or if they would consider that this would probably be a better choice for some higher carbon steel or something like that. I'm honestly not sure. But this one does not have a half stop like the blade does. But something that is pretty neat about this guy is kind of the full-size scissors that you end up getting here. And this one has the spring style that that Wenger Swiss Army knives used rather than the Victorinox ones, which I do appreciate. They're, you know, a lot stronger, and you don't have the risk of the springs flying out of them because they're, you know, held in by a little bit more than just friction. But, you know, they're not anywhere near as easily serviceable. You'd have to literally take your knife apart to be able to get to that and actually find all the spring assemblies and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, it is what it is. I do prefer it to the Swiss Army, like little curly Q spring sort of thing, but yeah, it's not quite as user serviceable, unfortunately. But yeah, we do have well, let's see, What kind of blade? Yeah, we got... Yeah, it's less than an inch for the actual blade length on there. There you go. But still, that's a lot larger than you end up getting on most Swiss Army knives, including stuff like... does the Explorer have some scissors on there? No, that's a very popular one. Maybe the Huntsman? I don't know. I really haven't kept up on model names and everything after I left. I remember the Champ XXL. It was like $1,000 and like a foot thick. It was ridiculous. But yeah, so it's nice to have some larger scissors in these sort of things here. I do appreciate that quite a bit. Here's the thing. We also do have an awl on the back here. And... yeah, I'm a little nervous to try to get it out because the backspring on it is so damn hard because of the way that it's basically sharing a half backspring with the scissors there. So you have the full force of that, but only concentrated in half the space. So you get like twice the amount of pressure on that little thing there because you really don't have a fantastic amount of leverage on there. I did have a coin sitting around. Is it still? It is. Well, it's a quarter. Let's see if that works. Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm going to stab myself and bleed everywhere. That'd make for some interesting content, huh? Yeah, screw it. I've destroyed a thumbnail before trying to get it out. Basically, yeah, it's just your standard awl for, reaming out leather or any sort of thing like that. And it's basically the same as any other Swiss Army knife will be. A little bit thicker blade stock than those typically have. But yeah, that lock spring tension is just bananas on it. It basically renders it useless. At least that's my opinion on it. Maybe if you have Wolverine adamantium fingernails, then you could be a little bit better at it than I am. But yeah, I don't really think it's worth trying to pull out on most of those occasions. And yeah, we do have a little I'm going to call it a bail for putting it on, or putting a lanyard onto it, or I guess if you were super crazy, you would try to put that, or put your keys on this as well. It's way too thick, I think, for something like that. But yeah, it is basically a multi-tool that's designed for a little bit harder use. As I had said in the beginning, I'm not super supportive of putting a tanto blade onto a slip joint. But that being said, they of course also make a drop point version of all of them as well, which I'd probably prefer. Well, that's okay. And we also have 2.3 millimeter blade stock on there, so decently slicey. Could have been just a little bit more if they did a full flat grind on there, but still, this is it's a pretty darn slicey blade. And hey, it's 14C28N. TwoSun does a great job with that stuff, so it's definitely going to last a lot more than your standard Victorinox Swiss Army knife that uses 1.4116 steel, which is why those things generally are always dull in someone's pocket, because the steel on them is not very great at holding an edge. It's kind of less than 440C or something like that. Probably somewhere a little bit more around 420 HC, or maybe just 420 or something like that. So not super fantastic. So that's definitely an upgrade to it. But yeah, I mean, in general, this thing was a nice curiosity. And there's some things about it that are kind of nice, but there's a lot of things about it that were not implemented super great. And I do think that really just comes down a lot more to, RattleSnake's designs on some of their stuff rather than TwoSun. I mean, TwoSun makes what people want them to make. And RattleSnake wanted to have this design made, and apparently made in black and orange and camo and tanto and drop point, but they've done that for a lot of their other knives. So I guess that was all just kind of around in the same time period. Yeah, this thing is also a thick boy. I was just saying the blade stock thickness on it is great, but if you're looking for handle thickness, yeah, we got like 6.6, probably 6.65 or 0.665 an inch there. Or what would you call that? 665 thousandths? I don't know. Mostly if I'm doing measurements, because I didn't grow up in fabrication, I'm probably going to stick with metric. That's why I do that for the blade stock thickness on it. It's much easier to say something like 2.3 millimeters rather than, 18 thousandths or something like that. It just sticks in my head easier. So yeah, these things are interesting. At least they're quite affordable. I do think, they probably sold for somewhere around 35 bucks. I did purchase this one from an eBay auction, so I probably got it a little bit cheaper, but this is actually something that they still even have up in their AliExpress store. Not sure if you order it, you'll actually get it. Yeah, I had ordered a pen from them, the TS20, the TS Pen 23. It's their clicky pen, since I haven't had one of those. Ordered it from them before they pulled all of their knives off of the store, but they still had, all their pens and everything else up there. And it sat around forever until, 3 months later when it expired, and then I claimed a refund, and they immediately agreed to it. So I don't know if it was something that they were like, oops, we forgot, or if they've just basically gone away from using AliExpress. That, or I don't know. I don't know an immense amount of the company, but I could assume that it was something like, hey, this was, I don't know, Juan. Let's use that name. Hey, that was Juan's sort of thing. So they were taking care of that. And, if they quit, were on extended hiatus due to, I don't know, maternity leave or something like that, if they're, nice enough to have that sort of stuff for their employees, or, God forbid, the Rona got them or anything like that, and they didn't have anybody else who had that information, that could have possibly happened as well. I'm not quite sure. I haven't really tried to speak with them, but, I don't really speak their language either, so that probably wouldn't be super easy. All right. Well, I'm rambling, but yeah, things pretty cheap, pretty easy to come by as well. There was, a ton of them made. Like I said, they're on eBay from time to time. They are listed on their AliExpress store, and I do think that White Mountain Knives probably has at least a variant or two of these in there. And yeah, they run somewhere in the 30s, which that's not actually all that bad for, basically a decent sized and decent blade geometry slip joint in 14C28N with some other stuff on there. But yeah, it's a heck of a trade-off having a ton of weight on here. Oh, that's right. I probably haven't weighed the thing. Yeah, 5¼ ounces, 149 grams. It's a large and bulky thing. So yeah, this thing would probably be pretty fantastic to toss in the glove box of your car or something like that. That way you always know you got a decent blade on you. And I guess for some emergency applications, you can saw through plant material. Obviously this isn't going to be a bone saw or anything like that. No, 128 days or whatever the heck that movie was. But yeah, and it's got a good sized pair of scissors. So yeah, I think for a glove box for a vehicle, this thing would probably be a pretty good choice for that. But for an EDC carry, probably not. It's way too heavy, way too thick, and especially if you do like the idea of using an awl, the backspring on that is just so strong that it renders it basically unusable. So there you go. There was kind of my, I guess, extended thoughts here on the, what was this, the TS206? Yeah, so RattleSnake designs are a little hit and miss. Some of them are great, and some of them are just not all that great. They have worked with, other companies as well. They've done a giant block of them with TwoSun, but they've also done quite a few of them recently with 6-leaf, and geez, I want to say they've done some with some others. My mind wants to say Kubi, but I don't think so. Well, I don't know. Yeah, they have quite a few different designs that they've thrown out there from different companies. But yeah, that's basically all I got to say about it. It's great for a glove box, not great for your pocket. So there you go. There's the TS206. I appreciate y'all for watching. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your day, yo. Snubby, snubby, snub, nub.